Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the Bitcoin price is currently testing this very important support level. We're also playing out the exact price action right now as what we saw around a month ago. So definitely stay tuned, because in just a moment, I'll be letting you guys know my next Bitcoin price targets. And that is not all. Something interesting is forming in the Bitcoin order books right now. And also the Bitcoin funding rates are now flipping more negative than normal, which is definitely important for the Bitcoin holders to pay attention to right now. So once again, definitely make sure you're watching this video from start to finish so that you're not missing out on all of that important information. And just before we jump into it, make sure to drop a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more videos just like this one. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos each and every day. So if you could just spend a couple seconds out of your day to click like and subscribe down below, it costs you nothing, but it helps out the channel so much. And I really do appreciate all of your support. But anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get straight to what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the 4-hour time frame. And first of all of this price action is actually playing out as expected, because if you were on the channel over the last 3 to 4 days, I'll let you guys know right around here that this level just here is strong support. So we're likely going to see perhaps one more bounce along that level, and then one more push to the upside that's slightly higher than these highs just here. And then we're going to come back down and commence potentially some more bearish price action. So of course, for those of you that have been watching all of my videos, none of this price action just here took you by surprise, because we were pretty much expecting all of these moves. And so for the new viewers on the channel, how did I actually expect this sort of price action to form? Well, it was simply exactly what we formed around a month ago. As you can see here, we saw this falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish pattern, and then we broke out to the upside, met the technical price target, which is the top of the wedge, but the price actually pumped a little bit further to the upside, flipped it into support, and then we had one more pump to the upside, which slightly exceeded these previous highs just here. And then we came back down right into the support line just here, which of course was previous resistance for the Bitcoin price. And then right here was obviously when the bearish price action was commencing. And keep in mind, this is only in the short term, so it wasn't any major crash or anything. In fact, from top to bottom, that only lasted around 3 days, and it was only around 8% to the downside. And of course, back then we actually had the higher highs in the price, but lower highs in the RSI, giving us a bearish divergence, which was also another signal that we were looking a little bit more bearish in the short term. Now looking at the current price action, we're literally seeing the exact same thing play out. As you can see, the same bearish divergence and all. And also looking at the MACD on this 4-hour time frame as well, comparing these two areas on the charts. During this area just back here, we actually were starting to top out in the 4-hour MACD, and we got a couple little bearish crosses here. We actually got an initial bearish cross right around here in the middle of this price action, and then we had one more little flip into bullish momentum, if you could see that just there. And then we had one more bearish cross where we actually signaled that bearish price action that came next after the second bearish cross. Now looking in the MACD right here, as you can see here, I actually have to zoom in a little bit further so you can really see what's happening. We actually got the first bearish cross right in the middle of this price action just here. Once again, the exact same as what we saw a month ago. And then we actually saw just a small bullish cross, and then another bearish cross not long after that. And remember, last time a month ago, it was the second bearish cross just here in the 4-hour MACD that signaled the potential bearish price action starting. But of course, nothing is guaranteed in these markets. Even though we saw the exact same thing play out last time, it doesn't mean we're going to see the exact same thing play out this time. For example, right now we're actually holding above this support level, at least at the time of filming this video. So for as long as we're above the support level, obviously we're still looking good here in the short term. It's only if we start breaking below this exact level just here, that is when we're going to see some lower price targets come into play. By the way, this important level that the Bitcoin price needs to hold above in the short term is coming in at around 47.1k. So you could basically just call that 47,000. If we start breaking below 47k with strong confirmation, so I'd like to see a 4-hour candle close below 47k, but also if we can see a decent spike or a surge in volume, or perhaps a retest of that level to the downside, then once again, those are the sort of confirmation methods that I pay attention to on the charts. We don't need to see all three, just one of those three can be enough, but obviously the more confirmation, the better. And as for potential price targets to the downside, first of all, measuring out what happened last time, once again, that was around an 8% move to the downside, around 8.5% to the downside. looking from this recent top just here at around 48.8k approximately, and measuring around 8 to 8.5% to the downside, that would be around 45k down towards around 44,500. So that little range just there, once again, is a potential price target if this simply continues to play out like what we saw last time once again. But now taking a look at a slightly different price target that we need to be paying attention to, going back first of all around a month ago, as you can see here, bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool from this low at the bottom of the wedge up to where we topped out just here at the end of the bearish divergence. Where did the Bitcoin price come down to? Well, we literally came down to the exact golden pocket and got a perfect bounce along the golden pocket, which is of course the 61.8% Fibonacci level to the 65% level. And at that stage just there, that was at around 46.3k approximately. Now going over to the current price action, bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool from the bottom of this wick low just here to the recent high just here, as you can see, that gives us the golden pocket at around 45,500 US dollars. So that 45k level approximately will act as major support for the Bitcoin price, even if we do see a break to the downside here. And how could Bitcoin actually flip this around and flip much more bullish? As I've mentioned in recent videos as well, for the subscribers out there, this is really nothing new, but bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool from this high at around 52.9k down to this capitulation low at around 42.8k, as you can see here, that gives us the golden pocket to the upside, coming in at around 49,000 US dollars, which is pretty close to where we actually found major resistance in the Bitcoin price. So if Bitcoin can continue to bounce along these levels of support just here, and more importantly, if we can break above the golden pocket there at around 49.5k approximately is the top of the golden pocket, then that is how you know that things are starting to flip much more bullish. And honestly, if that's the case, especially if we start breaking above 50,000, then in that case, we're definitely still on the road to recovery, at least up towards this high up here at around 53,000 US dollars. But the main important thing for Bitcoin right now is just to remain in a higher low and higher high structure, like what we're actually currently forming right now on the 4-hour time frame. As you can see, we clearly have been forming higher highs. We've also been forming higher lows as well. So technically speaking, if you're looking in the shorter term here on the 4-hour time frame, we are technically in a small uptrend. It's only if we start breaking into a new lower low, that is how you know that we're entering another downtrend and obviously flipping more bearish. And now looking at some important levels to pay attention to in the order books just here for Bitcoin. As you can see, we've actually got a lot of buy orders coming in for Bitcoin right at around 46,000 US dollars per Bitcoin is where that initial spike in buy orders is sitting at. We've also got a decent amount of buy orders just below 46,000 all the way down towards around 45.5 is where it actually starts dropping off again. So once again, in that little range just there between 45,500 to 46,000 US dollars, there's quite a lot of buy orders there, which will help support the Bitcoin price, because obviously with having all of those buy orders there, if you want to push the price of Bitcoin below that range, you actually have to have a whole lot of Bitcoin to sell to all of those people wanting to buy Bitcoin at those prices. And what's interesting is if you're looking to the upside here, there's not really a crazy amount of sell orders to the upside, which means right now there's a lot more people that are wanting to buy Bitcoin if we dip a little bit lower compared to people wanting to sell Bitcoin if we pump a little bit higher. But now taking a look at the Bitcoin funding rates across all of these exchanges just here, as you can see, the majority of the funding rates right now for Bitcoin at least are actually sitting in the negative. Now this is mainly in the token margin. Right now in the stablecoin margin contracts, the majority are looking more neutral if anything. And by the way, for the beginners out there that don't know the difference between stablecoin margin and token margin, basically if the contract is USDT margined, that means you are providing USDT as the margin for the contract. So for example, if you're entering into a long position, instead of using Bitcoin to enter that long position, if you use stablecoin, so USDT for example, to enter a long position on Bitcoin, then that position will be USDT margined. And of course, token margined is when you're using the underlying token to actually fund that position. So for example, if you're entering a long position on Bitcoin on token margined contracts, you are using Bitcoin to actually fund that position. So what's very interesting about these negative funding rates right now is, once again, the majority are in the token margin, which means that the majority of people shorting Bitcoin right now are using Bitcoin to short Bitcoin. So they're still actually holding the underlying assets at zero leverage, but they're shorting Bitcoin at usually a higher leverage than just 1x. So that basically means that in the short term, a lot of these people are potentially betting on the price going lower, but in the longer term, they're still bullish, because when you're token margined, even after a short position, if you close your short position after the price dumps a lot, the profits that you're going to be taking out on a Bitcoin short position on token margin contracts, once again, those profits are going to be in Bitcoin. So obviously you're going to want to be bullish in the long term on Bitcoin if you want to have your profits paid as Bitcoin. If you're much more bearish on the Bitcoin price in the longer term, then something like USDT margins would be a better fit, because of course in that case your profits will be paid out in USDT, for example, a stable coin. And by the way, for the beginners out there, the more negative that these funding rates go, the more short positions are currently opening up. And by the way, the more negative that these funding rates go, the more the short positions will cost to maintain. So as these funding rates go further and further into the negative territory, we would actually potentially get closer and closer towards a short squeeze. And by the way, a short squeeze is very bullish on the Bitcoin price, but once again, that usually comes after we see a lot of negative funding rates, and then the Bitcoin price starts bouncing up to the upside again, where those short positions have to close those positions. And if you enjoyed the video or got something valuable out of this video, make sure to drop a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more videos just like this one. As always, I post these updates every single day here on the channel, and I also give you guys some real-time updates over on my Twitter. The link to my Twitter is in the description down below. And honestly, I really appreciate all of you that have been sharing these videos around with your friends. Just by sharing these videos around with your friends, you're actually helping this channel grow, and at the same time, you are benefiting your friends, because obviously right now we're potentially entering into another amazing opportunity in the markets to perhaps accumulate at some lower prices. But anyway, that's just about everything I have to say for this video. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.